Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, if you're like me and have been following the XT5 from the rumors to the release and the first impressions all over YouTube, you may have asked yourself at one point, should I upgrade my XT3 to the brand new XT5? In this video, we're going to look at some of the advantages and reasons why you should upgrade and also good reasons why you should hang on to your XT5. Without wasting any time, let's get into it. The first and overemphasized point and a big selling point of the XT5 is the CMOS 5R sensor. 40 megapixels versus 26 megapixels. This is plenty reason to upgrade. In layman's terms, between the 26 megapixel and the 40 megapixel, there are about 14 million pixels. That means there are 14 million photosites on the CMOS 5R sensor that are collecting light and data onto the sensor. This simply means you will retain more details as you crop and zoom into the image. That image will hold together before it pixelates long before the 26 megapixel does. But the most important question is, just how much do you need to zoom before you get to that breaking point? And also in terms of use case for myself and yourself, do we really need to crop that much? I shoot people for the most part. I shoot portraits, events, I shoot people. And what I found is even with my 26 megapixels, I end up reducing the clarity and the texture in the images. These are some of the images that I've shot and have actually zoomed in 60 to 80%. This for me is an emergency situation and I hardly crop or zoom in that much into my images. Okay, but there are obviously a ton of features that really make it worth the upgrade. Let's look at good reasons why you would want to upgrade from the XT3 to the XT5. The first is IBIS. Now, if you're going from the XT4 to the XT5, you would have already have IBIS, and the improvement is not that much. It's half a stop of IBIS. Versus the XT3 jumping to the XT5, where you go from a camera that had 0 IBIS to a camera that has 7 stops of IBIS. This is a major improvement and reason to upgrade because it will greatly improve your workflow, allow you to shoot at slower shutter speeds to let in more light in difficult situations, also getting smoother footage handheld. This allows you to keep your footage intact and not introduce defects in post when you try to stabilize. The battery gave out on me while I was talking about the battery life in the XT3. Which brings me to my second point, the battery life. If you're moving from the XT4 to the XT5, the battery is the same, although the X-Trans 5 processor brings you more efficiency out of the same battery. Now, if you're going from the XT3, however, to the XT5, it is a massive jump in performance. You're going from those finicky small batteries to the much larger battery. This obviously improves your workflow and removes the stress of carrying like 5, 6, 7 batteries. Because from the reviews and the performance tests that I've seen, with this new battery, you can shoot basically the whole day with one battery, sometimes 1.5 if you're putting it through its paces. This is no doubt a big reason to upgrade to the XT5. The third and a major win for Fujifilm is the autofocus performance. Now, if you're going from the XT4 to the XT5, already there was a bit of improvement from the XT3 to the XT4. Now, going from the XT3, however, to the XT5 is a massive jump in autofocus performance. There are more features, there's subject tracking, and there's just more confidence. It is snappier, it is quicker, and will allow you to have more confidence when you shoot, knowing that you will get your image 9 out of 10 times. This is a major selling point, and if you shoot in dynamic environments or fast-moving subjects, you might want to consider this because it will greatly improve the hit rate when you shoot on any occasion. It seems like upgrading to the XT5 is a no-brainer. Well, unfortunately, we all don't have that luxury. Sometimes you're just a hobbyist, you're not willing to put in that much money into a new camera. Sometimes you're just not making enough money to justify a purchase, and so you have to make do with what you have. Now, let me preface this by saying the XT3, that 26 megapixel camera, is an amazing camera. As much as the XT5 is a massive improvement, it does not in any way invalidate the performance of the XT3. Now let's look at ways you can improve the XT3 performance and overall use to get better results and enjoy your camera more. The first is the conundrum of IBIS. Well, the first solution is using stabilizers like monopods or gimbals. The problem with this is you have to buy them, you're investing more money, and also have to lug around more equipment. For me, that is not ideal. The second is post-production, stabilizing your footage in post. Again, not ideal because you're introducing a bit of defect and degrading your image in post, while you can get the best result in camera. That brings me to the third and best option, investing in lenses with optical in-body stabilization. Lenses like the Tamron 70-70 with VC, the f2.8, or lenses like the 10-24 f4 used. Especially in the used market, these lenses are going for great prices. This will allow you to get better handheld footage, better stabilization in camera, and have to do less work in post. So this is a consideration, and I highly recommend that if you are working with the X-T3 and upgrading is not an option, look at better investing in your lenses. Look for lenses with stabilization and look at the used market. And now let's look at ways to get around the challenge of battery life. Now, there's very little we can do. The old batteries, the smaller batteries, don't really last that much. My ideal suggestion is using a battery grip. Yes, it adds a bit of weight to your whole setup, but it also improves your handling, giving you better control and more contact points when you shoot handheld. This allows you to carry 3 batteries at a go and allows you to shoot longer without stressing about your camera switching off mid-video. I would greatly recommend this, also given that the battery grips for the X-T3 are well priced and you can get it at a good price even in the used market. And now, autofocus performance. Now, there's very little you can do to get your X-T3 to perform the same as the X-T5. There's just way too much technological advancements between the two, and that's actually a big positive for Fujifilm. But what you can do, and what we are all guilty of, is shooting our camera in default autofocus settings. You need to master and learn your camera. I will link below one of my favorite videos from Tech that I have watched so many times. This video has helped me improve and master my camera to a point where I'm able to tailor my autofocus settings for different situations. When looking at autofocus settings, I would recommend that you look at the tracking speed and sensitivity and tailor that to what you're shooting. Single subjects, dynamic environment, moving subjects, or obstructions in front of the subject you're shooting, tailor these settings to help you get more confident and reliable autofocus. The second is don't always shoot face on eye auto. Look at the settings. If your subject is close enough, using face detection and eye auto is advisable. Having the camera look for an eye in a dynamic environment where the subject is far may confuse the autofocus and greatly decrease the reliability of your autofocus. This simply boils down to you understanding what you shoot and tailoring your settings to fit the scenario the best. This will greatly improve your autofocus performance. It will not get it to the level of the X-T4 or the X-T5, but you will get better results more often than not. I'm sure there are many other ways that you have found to improve the performance of your X-T3. I'd like to know all about it in the comments. Please let me know some tips and tricks that you found that could greatly help us improve the performance of our X-T3s. That is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. By the way, I'll be doing a video on the X100F and looking at the alternatives to the X100V that is basically taking the world by storm. Now, if you want to catch that video or are interested in videos like that, I highly recommend that you subscribe so you don't miss these videos when they drop. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay safe.